From death to birth, our journey is shaped by our culture's norms and rules, which influence our identity and bond us with traditions and values that pass down generations. This cultural identity connects us to a community with shared histories and goals. Our unique traits contribute to the world's diversity, such as our diverse ideas, our traditions, our languages, our clothing. What if I told you that parts of your identity could disappear within just a generation? Would you fight to save it? As a representative of a community that suffers in the face of modernity, yet flourishes in the shadows of history, I stand before you. I belong to the Pomak ethnic group, which has strong roots in the Balkans, but whose identity is sometimes blurred with the bigger national cultural themes around them. The Pomaks of Turkey. I'm a Pomak, a Balkan Turk from the Thrace. We are a Turkish minority that immigrated to Greece, from Greece and Bulgaria to Turkey. Many of you may have never heard of the phrase Pomak, but I don't blame you. As a Pomak growing up in Turkey, I lived in two separate worlds. One, vibrant with traditions my ancestors battled to uphold after facing the world's one of the biggest population exchanges in the world, and two, where those very traditions were fading into the background of a dominant culture. Pomak comes from the Slavic infinitive pomoci, meaning help, meaning helper, and that Pomaks took this name because they served as helpers in the Ottoman armies. Pomak is a language very close to Bulgarian, and even mutual understanding is possible between these two languages, but since there are many Turkish, Arabic, and Persian words in Pomak, those who speak Pomak can't really understand those who speak Bulgarian. My homeland, the Rhodope Mountains. Since we're a countryside culture, Pomaks are very closely linked to each other, providing support since we're a very small community. So it is very likely that my Pomak grandma knows your Pomak grandma that lives in the Thrace. Besides similarities, we do share some differences with Turkish people and Bulgarian people. We have our own unique traditions and events, such as our weddings, a Pomak bride's attire, and her face painting, a sacred ritual connecting her to her heritage and wishing her a happy marriage. We do also celebrate Martenichka. Arrival of spring, we wear a red and white wool ornament, showing strength and health towards our families and many. We exchange Martenichkas in order to show our love for people. It is another tradition us Pomaks picked up from the Bulgarians. Daring to question in the Pomak community, it has influenced our identity and has been a beacon throughout the challenges of preserving our unique heritage in a confluence of cultures, not being able to voice our existence. The search of Pomak culture comes with questions. Where do we belong? Why do I have to learn another language instead of my native tongue? How can we continue our culture without blending into the background? In a country known for its rich environment, Turkey, I went to school in Turkey. I studied Turkish history, Turkish language. So did my parents, just like everyone else. I benefited from the nation's free healthcare, free education, just like everyone else, which symbolized equality for all of us. But this is where my narrative takes a turn. The heart of who I am was formed with the quiet talks at home led by my grandparents and my father. In a world that can feel distant, these stories connect us to our roots, giving us a sense of identity. These questions I hold are not challenges, but invitations. Invitations to dialogue, to understand, and ultimately to inclusion. Dare to question. It is a call for all of us to understand how we might contribute to protecting diversity in a rich world. When my family immigrated to Turkey from Greece and Bulgaria, they spoke no Greek, no Turkish, or Bulgarian. They spoke Pomak. It was clearly who they were at their core, unquestionably and certainly Pomak. Within a generation, our language got lost, our culture got forgotten, and what was left was the phrase, "I am Pomak," with no meaning behind it. Moving away from Istanbul, my birthplace and the place I spent most of my childhood, was not difficult for me, considering the fact that I grew up there and my connection with Istanbul. I didn't feel like I belonged there because I somehow had a connection left with my culture, and I also questioned who I really am if I didn't have any connection left with my culture. After centuries of being unwanted in Greece and Bulgaria because we were Turkish, and being unwanted in Turkey because we were Greek and Bulgarian, Slavic Balkan, came to an end. This merging of cultures has a significant effect on every aspect of our lives. As an example, there's a generation of Pomaks who are unclear of their identity in the rich Turkish environment. As I stand before you today, my message is one of empowerment. To dare to question. It is to dare to understand, to grow, and to bridge divides. Allow my Pomak experience in Turkey for you to investigate under the surface and find details, and cherish the variety of forms that are our world. As I stand before you today, I dare to question the silence around the erosion of different cultures, traditions, foods, languages. I dare to question the notion that assimilation is the only path to unity. And I dare to question that the idea that any culture, no matter how small, can be deemed insignificant. Thank you.